Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast presented by Sunnyside. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 plus. That's me. Or Illinois MedCard holders. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Hello.
I'm Jay Zawaski. That's Greg Boysen. That's Mario Tirabassi. Lawrence is over there.
Hello.
You can't see him at the moment, but he's here. We promise.
I'm here.
And boy, are we in the dog days of training camp.
Yeah.
Oof.
Let's get the season started.
It's time. It's time. Everyone's ready. The players are ready. The coaches are ready. The media is ready. The last couple of days, we've all just gone into the dressing room after practice. Everybody just kind of stands around, looks at each other. That's about it. All right, good. We're good. Let's talk to Luke. Luke had some good stuff today. We're going to bring him to you. He talks about his line combinations, what he's got in mind for the season, and also a nice little anecdote about getting Connor Bedard the F off the ice.
Yeah.
Because
good luck with that.
He won't
Yeah,
leave.
good luck.
When we walked out of the dressing room to go talk to Luke today, Bedard was still on there, just blasting shots, taking as much time as he needed. I think the Zamboni is just going to have to start chasing him off the ice.
It is precarious how well Connor has timed out his post-practice shooting with the time that we walk out of the locker room.
Yes.
It happened yesterday, and it happened again today, where we were walking out, and I swear he just kind of like sees it and is just like, all right, scoop up the pucks, and I'm off the ice.
Yeah.
I've done it all.
He should, he is a high enough profile athlete where he could just say, I will talk to the medias on Monday. And then we just know
Sure.
Monday is Connor Bedard's day. And we all gather around the locker. He talks, and then it's over.
Yeah, you could do it that way.
I think once the season starts, morning skates are always a good day for quotes and stuff because there's actually a game to talk about. Like, there's really nothing to talk about, really. I mean, he even talked to us the other day, and it was kind of like we all just joined in on Ben Pope's one-on-one.
Yeah, he kind of awkwardly, like, I don't know, I'll ask him about the slingshot power play.
Sure. It was just like, yeah. I mean, nobody has anything right now. We need some games that matter. Games that count, and we're going to get that in less than a week. Get through tomorrow's game against the Wild at the United Center, Saturday's game in Milwaukee against the Blues.
Sounds like a full boat for the Wild tomorrow.
Yeah, Wild are going to be playing their NHL roster.
Minus Middleton and Boldy, who are both hurt. Otherwise,
Yeah,
it's their last preseason game, and they haven't played since,
the last game. Monday night, right?
They weren't exactly tested in that game. So,
Can you please be a little better? We need to get ready for the season.
But
to finish mid.
It will be good to get this week through. I'm actually was like excited to learn that tomorrow's morning skate is at the United Center as opposed to at Fifth Third Arena, which is, again, it's like, oh, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. It's so weird doing morning skate at Fifth Third Arena and having the game, or morning skate and then they lose, they leave after that. It's just kind of unusual. So it's going to be nice to go through an actual dress rehearsal tomorrow of morning skate at the United Center. Preseason game should be pretty close to opening night lineups on both sides.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they only have how many extras at this point? 2, 3?
3.
Well, you got
5 extras.
3 extra forwards and 2 extra defense. 3 extra defense.
3D if you still include what's his face. Oh no, Baddock is a forward.
Baddock's been playing.
Baddock's
Yeah,
forward,
yeah, I don't know why I keep thinking I get him and Austin Strand confused because
Oh yeah, sure.
they're just
no.
there.
Austin Strand is definitely back with Rockford.
So yeah, they have 5 extra guys. I would imagine we're gonna see some call-ups from Rockford and get some of those guys to play Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine they're gonna have your opening night lineup play back-to-back nights.
I wouldn't think so. And
No.
Luke sort of alluded to that this game tomorrow will be the big test, and then he did kind of say, well, and then Milwaukee will be a little bit of a different kind of.
Yeah, I mean it's Milwaukee, so get the Milwaukee hockey fans used to who they're gonna see when Rockford comes to town.
Right. Yeah.
Plays across the street all 7 times they come this year.
Mm-hmm.
So you can bring your Brent Seenies and your Colton Docks and Landon Slaggerts and let them play. And
Yeah, I mean,
get back to it.
I think it would be fun to see like a very prospect laden roster. I don't think what's what we're gonna get, but it would be fun to be like, here's Doc and Slager and Nazar and Korchinski and all the young guys, Dalmastro, Allen, like kind of again, it won't happen, but it would be fun to see a lineup that is like 80%, 90% all the like first and second year guys. That would be fun. Just kind of like, here's a glimpse of the future kind of thing. Kind of like those rosters that we've seen on social media where it's the 2027 Stanley Cup champions and it's all the draft
all
picks.
Blackhawk draft picks.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see a lineup like that for a preseason
Get
game.
to see if that actually works.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. That would be a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Hey, Law, if you see some good questions, put a little star on them. Maybe we'll do a little a makeshift mailbag at the end of the show today.
We're kind of winging it today.
Yeah, well,
Peek behind the curtain.
We're gonna hear from Luke in the next segment. There is good stuff there. Do us a favor. I haven't asked you to do this yet. Hit that like button for us. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. Podcast listeners, like, subscribe, review, all that stuff. Save that D Paris. Yeah, I just saw you did that. It's the second person that's brought that up to me today. Interesting. You know the drill.
Did you see Windy City Hockey said they're having a garage sale at the UC tomorrow?
Yes, they are. They're doing.
Can I buy an old Zamboni?
I don't know if they got the old Zamboni out there, but
try.
they're gonna probably have some old jerseys and stuff. And I'm gonna pull up the info on that. Yeah, Blackhawks Authentics garage sale. It is tomorrow. That's October 4th at 4 p.m. noon to 4 for the general public, and from 5 until puck drop for fans with the game ticket. So the sale will take place at the south end of the atrium with parking available in Lot K for easy access. So if you want to go find some Blackhawks Authentics, like gloves, sticks, jerseys, goalie pads, they've got all kinds of stuff at
Game
those.
used stuff, yeah.
Go check it out. Get some,
You can get a
merch.
game used Tyler Johnson stick.
Bet you they got Corey Perry jerseys.
Maybe, yeah. They didn't use as many as they thought they were going to use last year.
Maybe get a good deal on a Caleb Jones number 82.
That's
that
the
would
kind of
be-
stuff you're going to find at the garage sale.
That would be
yes.
that would have made it through 2 garage sales.
I would imagine too. There's a lot of
Maybe an Anders Bjork jersey.
a lot of
Ooh.
Adidas equipment.
Yeah, it would be. It would all be Adidas.
Yes.
All the jerseys.
Yeah.
All their practice jerseys will be out there too.
That should be fun. Well, we will have your post game show.
Get yourself
tomorrow.
a Remington Pitlick authentic jersey.
Now that's
a collector's
That's
item.
going to move the needle for a lot of people, I'm sure.
I'll just change it to potluck and then wear it every time I go to a party.
Yeah.
Well, let's discuss the lines used in practice today. I thought the D pairs were interesting because it was TJ Brody and Seth Jones today, but with Alec Martinez taking a maintenance day, Luke sort of clarified it's going to be, at least for tomorrow, Martinez and Jones and Vlasic and Brody will be the top 2, and then you've got Nolan Allen, Isaac Phillips, Murphy's still there, so we got to figure out what that third pair is going to be. But it's we're starting to see an NHL roster, and I want to see this team. Like, I know it's preseason, and I know it's not a big deal that they haven't won, but I was fortunate to miss that last game. That was a game where you got pretty much your full roster of guys ready to go, and you just get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
That's a little bit concerning for me. I don't want to make too much of it.
Then don't.
But it's, I don't know.
It's concerning.
But here's the thing. Like, last year, one of our main complaints about the team was they're not ready to go. They're not prepared. They start slow. And I know they scored first in the last game, but like, if this is going to remain a problem that this team just has issues getting going or issues playing hard every night, that's a big concern for me. And again, I'm not going to make too much of it, but tomorrow night's going to say a lot. If they get their ass kicked again tomorrow,
then you start to, that concern meter starts to rise. I felt the same way after that game, because it felt a lot like how games went last year, where it was, they'd have a little bit of, a good sustained period of play, and then 1 became 2, became 3, the snowball went down the hill, and things were out of reach. And that happened a lot last year, and that's what we saw in the last game. And then Nick Foligno said after the game, that's exactly what happened. They, 1 bad play turns into 2, turns into 3, and that they get into old habits, and it's hard to break themselves out of that mentality, and which is good that it's happening in the preseason. Get that stuff out of your system now. And what I think is interesting is that, through the training camp cuts and everything, and the additions that they've made in the offseason, this is a team way more experienced, much older than in the past 2 years, season and a half has been. The expectations are different, and I think the mentality is shifting. And I wonder if the new guys in the room, they weren't here last year, their presence hopefully changes the complexity of not falling into old habits. And then you look at the guys that were here, and the ones, especially guys like Nick Foligno and Seth Jones, they were the ones kind of making the public push of things need to change, can't be doing the same things. If you bring in these veterans and you move the young guys down to Rockford and say, okay, everyone develop and take your time down there and all that stuff, this team should feel different. So the last game, and if the same stuff happens again tomorrow, then yes, the concern is rising as we get to the start of the season.
I'm going to go on the record and say if they lose big and have another bad game tomorrow night, we're canceling the post-game show, because I'm not dealing with the chat after another meaningless postseason loss where we get that too. And not going to have a bunch of people we've never seen before in the chat just get on here and
but welcome new people.
Yes, new people. You are welcome. Just don't be silly. So yeah, I would think, yes, you're going to have pretty much your opening night lineup, give or take 1 or 2 guys. You want to see a better effort. But to your point about this is a much more veteran team, that also is another reason why, I'm not super concerned about what happens in these postseason games, other than everybody please don't get hurt. Because you do have veteran guys who have been through this before who know, okay, preseason is just about getting the legs under me, getting my lung capacity up, getting the feel. It's not necessarily about getting everything's got to be perfect. This is how we do things. I think with a more veteran team, you got guys that know that it's preseason, kind of pace yourself. Guy gets behind me. All right, guy gets behind me. Yeah, you don't want to see that mentality carry over. But I think with these guys who have been through it so many different times, you'll see a different team when we get to Utah than we've seen this postseason or preseason. I don't want to keep saying postseason.
Yeah. You're excited for 2027.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's because I said post game and now the post is stuck in my head. I need a nap.
You don't want a post stuck in your head.
No.
A nap sounds good.
Yeah, I mean,
you guys are running on empty. I love it.
I would say,
should I run to V at 5 real fast?
We're not running on empty. It's just we have talked ad
nothing to
nauseum
talk
about this preseason. We could break down lines. We're going to hear what Luke has to say here in a minute, but it's just let's get to it.
Yeah.
Get to it. Because what it does do, and this is maybe a conversation we can have a little bit later in the show, is we're seeing a unprecedented preseason full of noteworthy injuries. Is it time to shorten this? It's a conversation every year. It never really changes, but it just feels too long.
Well, they are going to shorten the preseason, and then they're going to extend the regular season,
which is also dumb.
Yeah.
I hate when they do that because then you have to put an asterisk on things.
Billionaires aren't going to give away their money.
I hate it.
Yes, but Jay, the money that they can make.
I don't know. You gotta,
Hey,
Think
you need a third yacht.
Think about the money that they can make.
you've got to make up giving
Not
away all
the-
that free water somehow.
Don't think about the players.
Well, think
think
what that's
about
going
the
to do
money.
for the water bill at the United Center. See? Selfish.
That's why you got to have 2 more games.
All right. By the way, fellas, it's show 3, so we have to adapt our reads here on the run.
See, I thought
Good
so.
catch, Mario. It is
I thought
still
so.
a Sunnyside Thursday, but it is
Correct.
show
We're-
3.
Yes. We
Technically.
just moved that up in the.
So you'll hear about Empire tomorrow. But now you're going to hear
Spoiler
about
alert.
spoiler. Yeah, tune in
Spoiler
tomorrow.
alert, yeah.
But now you're going to hear about Game Time, and you're going to like it. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They've got those super deals as well. We were perusing yesterday's Bears game, and there are some great seats at low prices, and that's what Game Time is all about. And if you're not sure and you're trying to decide between 2 or 3 different seats, guess what? You can see what the view is right from your seat on the app. It is outstanding.
Great seats available.
Yes, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
It's 2:46 again.
Thank you. Good job.
Game time. Yes, game time. That's what time it is. And hey, if you're looking for tickets to tomorrow's Blackhawks game, hit up Game Time as well. It's going to be at the United Center. And if you're not going to be there, you can try to watch the game on CHSN, Chicago Sports Network, the new home of the Blackhawks, Bulls, and White Sox. CHSN is broadcasting more than 300 live games per year across the Hawks, Bulls, and White Sox teams, and is going to feature a full lineup of original Chicago-focused sports content. CHSN, not to be confused with CHGO, is also Chicago-based, Chicago-built, and Chicago to the core. They are bringing it to every corner of Chicago across our 77 great neighborhoods and beyond. Over at CHSN, Chicago comes first. You can visit chsn.com for more info on how to watch Bulls, Hawks, and Sox games all season long. And when the game is over, we are here. We are here for you all the time. All the time.
82 games plus preseason plus playoffs.
Yes.
We'll be here.
Yes, the postseason.
And
And
pregame for road
postseason
games.
eventually.
Pre-game, for most road games.
Exactly right. All right, let's hear from Luke Richardson. He talked about his line philosophies. Just to run you through it real quick before we get to him, here's what they had up front today, and I think this is what we'll see tomorrow. Bedard, Teravainen, Bertuzzi, Kurashev, Mikheyev, Hall, Donato, Maroon, Smith, Dickinson, Anderson, Foligno. The green "we're not playing" line jersey, Athanasiou, Baddock, and Reichel. And then in practice today, for what it's worth, Brody, Jones, Vlasic, Murphy, Allen, and Phillips. So that's what was on the ice today. Again, Martinez is expected to play tomorrow and is expected to be paired with Seth Jones. But here's what Luke Richardson had to say after practice today.
Do you know when guys will get on the ice?
No, I think he's ramping up in the gym and feeling better every day, so hopefully soon. And then Martinez just had a maintenance day. We had a pretty hard practice yesterday, so just trying to manage him, the older guys.
Have you thought any more about what the pairs will be? I know you were talking about having Jones and Vlasic apart.
Yeah, and I think it's easy to throw them out there in a game if we need to. If it's special teams that have big lines, double up them a little bit. But I think we're still kind of really floating the idea of playing probably with Martinez and Seth and Brody, and because Brody plays a lot of right, and keep Vlasic on the left. But we'll just have to wait and see, make sure everybody's fully healthy, and go from there.
Do you have any idea of when Brossois might join the team?
I think he's still on the same timetable, which was somewhere. I think he's on the ice doing movement and stuff, but maybe mid first trip around. I think that was the timeline that it was originally, so it should be around that time.
What about Lefshinov, any?
No, I think he's on the same timeline. I think he's skating, but I think he's not able to participate for, I don't know if it's a couple more weeks, but it seems long, but I think they just want to make sure with the young guy that he heals properly.
Is the plan to keep him here until he's ready to go?
Yeah, I think just keeping an eye on him and giving him all the services we have here to get him fully healthy, and when he's ready to go, then they'll make the decision then. And it'll depend on who's healthy here or not too.
I know it's early, but can you tell any difference with Connor in year 2? Whether he looks any different?
Yeah, no, I think he's driving, and he's really, even in skating drills with a back check, like he's got his head down, he's pushing. I think he's really trying to take his conditioning to another level, which I think he sees all the top players that do that. And that's just going to help him in being stronger on pucks in tough areas in the corners, and he's got to do that to retrieve pucks and power plays and in the O-zone. So I just see him, he just seems a little bit older, more mature, a little bit more used to what's going on. He's still out there fiddling with the puck now, but I don't know if we'll ever get that out of him. But I think once we get going in the season, he's going to have to realize, which we tried to talk to him last year about energy management, right? Like he might not think he's burning a lot just stick handling and shooting, but that's a lot of time for a professional athlete to not. You're taking that out of your rest time, and when you get 3 and 4 nights, you got to think ahead in the schedule. So little things like that. I'm sure he's one step better than he was coming in as an 18-year-old, and he's got that determination that it looks like. He's not going to let anything stop him, so that's good. We're just going to help him in any way possible to achieve that.
I was going to ask, is that a thing where eventually you might have to put your foot down because he needs physical recovery and mental recovery?
We tried last year. We took his sticks, and then he flirted with his contract with Sherwood or something by taking someone else's stick, and then we took his steel out of his skates one day, but and hit it. And I think we'll just have to, and we'll have some fun with it too. And he smiled, but he still wanted to get out there and find a way to get out there. But I think those little points like that, we should have fun with it, but I think those sink in, and I think he'll realize it once he goes through it now and remembers, last year that third game in 4 nights and travel, that's a lot, and hopefully that experience from last year is going to kick in with and just brings more maturity to him as a professional athlete.
He's been playing with Tyler all of camp, but the left wing spot is kind of rotated. Do you have in mind who might fit there on opening?
I think Tavo's a great option because they're going to play in the power play together and trying to create that chemistry, which you see a lot with a lot of 2 players around the league, and I think that's what we're going to probably do tomorrow. We'll just wait and see if everybody's okay after practice, but it'd be nice to see one more time with that, and then we can make our decision. And him working on his condition will allow us in a game to maybe throw him somewhere else in a game and get him out there twice with different groups, and we'll still work on what's really going to click and move forward.
On the power play, both Taylor and Tyler were saying that they feel like if both of them are kind of down low, that it opens up more space everywhere else. Is that something that you like, the idea of them kind of both being around the crease?
Yeah, I think on recoveries, I think having that middle guy up higher just to help release the pressure, and once we get that done, I like sliding down because they're both really strong around the net, and it does open a lot of space in the middle. That kind of like the Kaprizov goal against us. We got to cover that better, but other teams they worry about where the puck is, they forget about the other guy, and I think that'll be something where a chemistry between Tavo and Connor can really come into effect, where they'll be using the seam pass or using that as a weapon against the other team, that they overcover it, and then you get the puck down low, and it's a 2-on-1 down low with those 2 guys that are really strong around the net.
There's Luke Richardson, courtesy of my phone and my new microphones.
You're doing good.
Nice. That I figured out.
I mean, it's very steady, as far,
I got a steady hand.
When he talks that long, I know I'd start to drift down.
Well, yesterday I was doing it from the crotchal region.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And I think it made him look too domineering. It was looking up at him, which you didn't want. So today I was holding it up.
Wow.
But a couple weeks ago I told Greg I was getting tennis elbow from holding my phone.
It's preseason for us too.
We
got to get our camera recorder.
You think this area of my wrist and arm would be in great shape?
I still remember covering spring training.
Well, you're
settle down.
Yes, Lawrence, I'm listening.
It's because you're keeping it still. You're not moving it.
Oh, I remember covering spring training, and people don't realize how heavy a TV station microphone is.
Yeah.
Like I remember
Got
being in the scrum, and Kerry Wood's talking, and it's after 6 minutes, my hand is just shaking. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me?
Stein holding competitions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would not last very long.
I remember Charlie Romeliotis's, I don't know how long on the beat it was, but early on, he used to have a hockey stick with a mic tape to it. So he could almost treat it like a boom. And
was that
hold it
COVID
like this.
time?
No, I don't think so. I think it was, I don't know. I don't remember when, but it was.
Yeah, it's
cool.
You can get creative. You just got to, hit the weights.
Can we hit this young dangle god?
Is it about Patrick Kane? Because then no.
Well, but hold on though. It's pretty cool.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, might be easy to protect the top two lines if we had Kaner up there.
What did I just say?
But listen, Jesus.
This is the last one, as I need to save money. Mrs. Young Dangle God is pregnant.
Hey.
Any advice?
Don't name it Patrick or Kane.
Yeah, don't name your child after an athlete. That's for dogs.
Yep.
Enjoy it. It goes fast.
That's awesome.
Get ready to not sleep.
Yeah, Charlie, the bacon guy.
That.
Sleep now, buddy.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Build up all your sleep now because it's you're gonna need those reserve tanks.
But I gotta say, as the father of a 14-year-old, it is going to go by so fast. You won't believe it, and everybody says that, and you say, "Oh no." I am telling you, it is scary how quickly they go from baby to teen, and in 3.5 years, she's probably going to be out of our house, and that is crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's wild. I feel like yesterday I was holding her. So enjoy every second.
Good advice from Ted.
Yes.
Young Dangle God's wife is always right. She's never overreacting.
Especially at this time.
That is a very
Most
good point.
especially at this time.
And be involved in the labor. Be involved in the
get right in there.
Planning. I was right in there.
Yeah,
I was right in there. Oh my! I had a leg on my shoulder, baby. I was working.
I almost passed out.
I was working. It was I will say, get a little Vicks.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. I was
Sorry, Greg.
I was towards the head.
Yeah,
my wife's head.
Yeah, I was right next. I was behind a curtain, but it's still
okay. Yeah.
I also was only in there for 5 minutes because it was 2021, so I wasn't in there the whole time. But my daughter's turning 3 later this month, and it's wild. When we launched, she was still real small and holding her and using the baby carrier and all that stuff, and now it's now she's got an attitude growing. Which is interesting. No, not an attitude, a personality. Not an attitude, a personality.
No, you said attitude. That's out there. I want to play that for her in 4 years.
Just
listen
wait.
to what your father said.
It's adorable. But it's crazy how how time passes.
Well,
congrats.
Congrats. I don't have any advice. I'm one of those childless weirdos that has
childless cat ladies.
No cat ladies, but I'm one of those childless weirdos that has disposable income and free time. So don't listen to me.
Yep, that sounds.
A couple of people saying you're not right to say no about naming your children after athletes. Change the logo says, "What do you mean? My daughter's name is Artem Anisimov."
Well, in that case, and
her sister Annette Front Presence.
Somebody said they named their kid Duncan. That's a cool That's fine. I'm just saying, don't name your kid Kaner Smith. You know what I mean?
Kaner Taser.
This is my son, Hosa.
Kaner Daigle.
Yeah.
Kaner Dangle God. Yeah.
You know what? For me, it's more don't name your kid Wrigley.
Yeah, that's a dog's name. Yeah. That's
name your kid whatever you want.
40% of Chicago's dogs' names.
Right.
Name your kid whatever you want. Just know that if it's stupid, I'm going to think you're an a-hole.
I was named after Mario Andretti.
See, that's
really
cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Cool story.
That's true.
That's rad. I remember being in a restaurant in Phoenix, Arizona, and there's Mario Andretti over there. I was like, "Oh, it's Mario Andretti!" Yeah,
he's very fast.
Really fast.
I was
He's
named
zoomed
after the
by
high
with
school my
appetizers.
mother went to.
I was named after my dad.
She went to Greg High School?
She went to St. Gregory High School.
Oh, St. Gregory.
Oh, nice.
That makes sense.
Might as well, right?
Yeah, let's hit the break zone.
we're
When
on
we
to-
come
Let's
back,
break the zone.
we asked you for your
Drop pass.
your very quick mailbag questions, and boy, you responded. So guess
Y'all are
what?
killing it.
We're gonna do a quick mailbag second half of the show. So stick around. If you got some questions, throw them in the chat. We'll try to get to them next on CHGO Blackhawks. But first, you need a Coors Light. I need a Coors Light. We all need a Coors Light because life is stressful and we need more times than ever to choose chill. And when you choose chill, reach for a Coors Light because it's mountain cold refreshment. You know that by now. It is our favorite. It is our go-to whenever we choose chill. When those mountains turn blue, your Coors Light, you guessed it, it's as cold as the Rockies. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold baked for a smoother finish. So when you embrace a chill mindset, it's a good time to choose chill and crack open a Coors Light. Coors Light is mountain cold refreshment, crisp and refreshing as, not the Smokies, the Rockies. Make the most out of the times that you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart right now by going to CoorsLight.com/CHGO Hockey. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Hey, and once you get yourself a whole bunch of those Coors Lights, you need something to help keep them cool and transport them wherever you may go. And that's where Rugged Road comes in. Rugged Road is dedicated to creating innovative and durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the best. Their products are designed with the highest quality materials and craftsmanship, ensuring they perform in the toughest conditions. Whether you're on land or water, Rugged Road gear is built to accompany you on every adventure. One of the most unique features of Rugged Road coolers is their ability to always float upright, so you'll never lose a drink. Unlike other heavy-duty coolers, Rugged Road coolers are incredibly light, making them easy to transport on any trip without compromising on performance. Crafted to handle the toughest environments, their coolers are built to last, ensuring they can keep up with any adventure. The coolers are guaranteed to keep their contents cool for up to 7 days, but oftentimes it's much longer than that. Perfect for a variety of outdoor activities, from fishing and tubing to camping and tailgating, maybe some pond hockey up in Minnesota. These coolers are designed to meet the needs of every outdoor or sports enthusiast. So gear up for your next adventure with Rugged Road. They are reliable, durable, and built to be used. Rugged Road, your ultimate outdoor companion. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use the promo code CHGO, and they're going to give you 10% off your order.
Yes, do that. Those are nice coolers. I like them. All right, let's start with the super chats here because a bunch of people sent those. Broggy Scald, I hope I said that right. Do you think this is Richardson's make or break season? I, for one, do.
I don't think, well, I was going to say I don't think this is a break season, but if it ends up being like last year, I think this could be a break season because of the expectations coming in, not to contend for anything, but for things to be different. You can't have a worst, second worst, or third worst finish. That was laid out by Kyle Davidson at the end of last season. What he did this offseason, I think, was moves to try and ensure that didn't happen as far as from a roster construction standpoint goes. And now it's in Richardson's hands to, mold the best roster that he's had into something better than the third worst team in the league. And if it doesn't happen, I think some real questions and some real decisions might need to be had.
I'm less concerned about the place where they finish. I'm more concerned about the point total because, as we discussed for the last 300 years of this offseason, even a 20-point improvement makes them like the fourth or fifth worst team in the league, which is fine. That's 10 more wins. And I think some of the projections we've seen from some of the stat dudes, the graph people, have been in the mid to high 70-point prediction.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. And look, if they're in the hunt, up until Christmas, up until New Year, maybe Valentine's Day, whatever it might be, fine. I'm happy with that. But it's just, you don't want to see the same things repeating that we saw last year. It's kind of what we were talking about earlier in the show where Nick Foligno says we're falling in old habits. There's 9 new guys. 9 guys on this team that were not here last year, if you're including Nolan Allen and prospects that have gotten called up. 9. So they're not old habits. If the same habits are coming from this group, they're not old, they're new. but they're the same.
Mhm.
And that to me would be a problem. I should also add that at the end of this year, John Cooper is without a contract. Mike Sullivan's without a contract. So the opportunity to upgrade exists. And what we've seen from the Hawks with Jamie Faulkner and Danny Wirtz's leadership so far is when there's an opportunity to upgrade, they do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't even necessarily have to be broken if they know it can just be better. So
Sure.
I'm not saying that Luke Richardson is Ricky Renteria and John Cooper is the Joe Madden to come into this team, but
What happened though?
if the opportunity exists for this team to hire John Madden, why keep John Cooper? Jesus, I got all the coaches. in my
Boom.
head.
John Madden is a coach though.
Yes, that'd be good.
Shirtless
John
limousine
Madden.
John
Not
Madden.
bus riding John Madden. Alive John Madden.
Yes, I was gonna say that one's dead.
The one that's alive is enough.
I mean, that should
So
be,
some of people in our chat would think dead John Madden was still an improvement over Derek King.
well, I just look. Yes, I do think that there is going to be a lot of scrutiny on Luke Richardson this year. Also, whether or not the Hawks are what we think they should be this year, you have to call John Cooper.
Sure.
You have to see if he's interested
And then-
in moving
and then
on
when
and
he-
coming to an original six.
And then when he sees
Yada, yada.
the state income tax rate here in Illinois, he's going to say, no, thank you.
Good, then you pay him
Pay him
the
more.
difference plus.
Yeah, I mean, that's a conversation for
Yes,
next
of
off
course.
season. But as far as like, there are expectations on Luke Richardson for the first time in his career here. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily a make or break season, but it definitely could be a break season if it's bad and it doesn't. But we got to remember though, like with this team, you just mentioned all these 9 new guys. It's going to take a few games to get these guys gelled together, get Luke to figure out who works well, who doesn't. It's going to take some time. So if they're 1-3 on this first road trip, there's no reason to start screaming to fire him.
Right.
Even though there are a lot more NHL veterans on this team than we've seen, some pretty good ones too. It's still going to take a few games to get everything where it's supposed to be. So like, no, please don't panic right out of the gate. If it's, Jeremy Colleton-esque start to the season, then you can say, all right, it might be time to make a change here. But if it's, 4-6,
Right.
5-8, but they're competitive, they're just, then okay, I just want it to look different and feel different. And I know the second there's a bad game, it's going to be the coach's fault. But at what point does it become the players to execute? Like we saw these last 2 games, the Minnesota game, the St. Louis game, they started off real well. And then, they got leads. And then the second period showed up and they stopped executing. How is that Luke Richardson's fault? What's he supposed to do?
Have they not had a lead in every preseason game?
No, just the last 2.
They led St. Louis.
Right, that's the last 2.
That's the last 2.
In Detroit.
They did not. They got shut
They
out.
never had a lead.
No, they never had a
Yeah, what am I
lead.
thinking of? All right.
They never had a lead in either of the Detroit games. They scored first in the St. Louis and Minnesota games. They were up 2-0 in Minnesota or St. Louis going into the third. And then that's what I'm seeing where it's like, I mean, I know, I get it. You need someone to yell at when guys stop moving their feet and stuff. But
Right.
I don't know how that's necessarily on the coaches. That's on the players.
Yeah.
Keep playing.
Right.
Luke Richardson should not have to tell professional hockey players after every shift, there you go, keep it up,
Good
champ.
job. Here's a lolly.
There you go. No,
Right.
these guys know what they're supposed to do. And some of those guys were here last year and they're not. So if there's still some of those guys, we're going to find out real quickly who they are. It's not up to the coach to say, hey, dude, you got to try hard every shift. You're in the freaking NHL. Play.
Right. I just to be clear, I don't think any of us are advocate. I would be shocked if he was fired midseason. I don't think that it would take an absolute.
It would take
disaster.
like a 1-11 start where they're being outscored 5-1 every night. The team will have to be. The team will clearly have to have given up.
It would, as you mentioned, Jeremy Collins.
Yeah,
it was
that's
very
right.
clear
That's
that
was a
could not go
team
on another day.
that broke camp and said, "Let's get this jerk fired."
Yeah,
and that's exactly what they
That
did.
is not. There's no. I want to be very, very clear here. There is zero indication that anything with the Blackhawks right now is anything remotely like that.
No.
That Luke Richardson has the team's respect. The systems he teaches make sense. He is not trying to fit square pegs into round holes. What he does, the execution is the issue. And that's what Greg's talking about is at some point, the players have to execute. Luke's not doing anything. He's not reinventing the wheel. He's not trying to reinvent hockey with his – that's what Colin was trying to do, was come in and say, I'm going to show you how smart I am. Look how I'm going to reinvent this team, and it completely backfired. He was also the wrong guy for the wrong team at the wrong time, and I think he probably will get an NHL shot again someday, but it was an awful hire at the time.
He's in New Jersey?
With Keith. Yeah, with Sheldon Keefe.
Oh, boy.
Greg's favorite tandem.
I want Sheldon Keefe to do really well
Yeah.
because A, I like the Devils, and B, I just want
Now he's out of Toronto.
more misery for Maple Leaf fans.
Oh, by the way, have you noticed, just listening to like the National Hockey Podcast, that all of a sudden, now that Sheldon Keefe is in New Jersey, he's this really good coach, and people are talking about him in a totally different way. Just because he left Toronto.
It's the same way
so
people are
weird.
talking about the Utah. Now that they're out of Arizona, all of a sudden, watch out for that Utah club. Okay, maybe,
We'll
but
see.
maybe not.
I think that's two different
Right, but it's the
two
same
different scopes, but yeah.
It's amazing how when you get out of one situation and get a fresh start, all of a sudden everybody's on your side again. One more thing about Luke Richardson and where he's the blame. People are asking about accountability, and yes, that's up for Luke Richardson. And this year, I think you're going to see more accountability because you have a deeper roster. Who were you going to bench last year? You were playing AHL fourth liners half the season. There was
Sit down, Rem Pitlick.
How could you be accountable for just you were picking guys off the street literally to play? I mean, Zach Sanford was with the Tucson Roadrunners playing at the Chicago Wolves, and they were like, "Hey, you want to come play for us? You're in town. We'll pay for the Uber."
It's like Lou Brown in Major League. I don't know.
So now that you actually have a roster now, even at the NHL level, where you have a couple too many guys, hey, if Ryan Donato isn't pulling his weight, he's not going to play.
Landon Slaggert's nipping at your heels.
And then you've got
that's a guy who will give you everything.
But I'm just saying, like, even with the guys that are up here now, okay, Lucas Rockle, you're not playing, fine. We'll play a heavier fourth line with Donato, Smith, and Maroon, and you could watch. Or Colton Dock, Landon Slaggert, Frank Nazer, they get off to hot starts, and they're begging to come up here. You're not playing well, we're going to call up one of our kids. You can't be accountable when you don't have a roster.
Yeah.
Now you have a roster, yes. I want to see some more of that. I want to see playing time, lack of playing time be the punishment for not executing.
Well, and the practices have been accountable in this training camp too. Like, in general, they've all been more intense.
Yeah.
Start to finish, shorter, more intense, which is what they talked about at the end of last year. Yesterday's practice was basically a back skate in disguise.
Yeah, it was.
They were skating their asses off. Whichever group would lose a drill would have to do kind of like a ladder situation, like blue line to center ice, back to the blue line as a punishment after losing a drill. Like, that was an intense, it was not long, but it was an intense practice. And it was, you could feel that. And after that loss, maybe it was needed. And I think, look, like, you're right. NHL players should be able to motivate themselves, but this is what we talked about at the end of last year is you don't want losing to become routine.
Right.
And you don't want it to become okay. It's like Shorty says, they don't hate to lose. You've got to hate to lose. And I think now the guys that are here, starting with the captain, Foligno, obviously Bedard hates to lose. Maroon has won 3 Stanley Cups. Craig Smith's been on good teams. Like, you're bringing in guys that hate to lose. But if it just continues and continues and continues, at some point, everybody gets used to it.
Right.
And that's what you have to prevent.
And I think, that kind of shift in the mentality and the shift of the guys who were here last year to who's here now, I think that's where that makes a difference. And one point I wanted to say with the accountability is, look at who's wearing green jerseys. A guy making $4.25 million and a guy who is supposed to be part of the rebuild.
Yeah.
And they're likely going to be, if they're on the roster to start the year, which I'd say they probably are, they're probably not in that lineup for the Utah game unless something changes over the next 2 preseason games and going into Utah, this feels like the lineup that they're icing tonight, for the most part, is who will be likely going to Utah and playing.
Yeah.
So, and what Richardson said about Reichel specifically was, we need more out of him. We're telling him the same things that we've been telling him. It's on the player to implement those things that we're telling him to do and put them into his game. And if he's not doing that, like, it's a big boy league. You have to earn it. So I think with accountability with players and with coaching, we're going to see it this year. It's already a glimpse in a preseason setting. I think we're going to see a lot more of it this regular season.
And they even Lucas admitted numerous times that had Lucas Reichel would have been sent down to Rockford way earlier than he was, but they couldn't because they had no bodies.
Yeah. Necessity. Yeah.
Like, they had to keep him up
if he
there.
was in Rockford, they would have called him up because of the situation that they had.
So, you're already seeing it, and with a better roster, a deeper roster, hopefully a healthy roster for the season, you can sit guys for long stretches and not worry about it. And that's the biggest way. That's where players really start to notice, is when you start affecting their playing time.
Yep.
You either you play them less per game or you stop playing them at all. That's, I think, the most drastic way to send your message if it's not being heard.
All right, let's get to the second question of our.
Yeah, let's pick. How about from Mario P? Not trying to be negative, just trying to understand the season. Do we want to play much better or continue to go for a high draft pick?
Yes,
you can do both.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't make the playoffs, you're in the lottery. This team is very likely still picking in the single digits, I'd say. But you can do that while playing better. And, people are saying, well, for the White Sox, it can't get any worse. Like, they have to get better. Well, getting better from being the worst team ever in baseball is technically getting better. With the Blackhawks, it's being better than second to last in the league. Putting up 60, 70 points, that's being better, but you're also still going to have a high pick.
Right.
Yeah, you can. Dream scenario is like, and the guys, girls, this is called sarcasm. 85 points and winning the draft lottery. That is wonderful. A perfect season.
Perfect.
85 points and still getting number 1 overall. Make it happen, NHL.
Let's do it.
But no, you could be better and still get a high draft pick. You just all those things we were talking about. Being more competitive, playing full 60 minutes, having accountability, looking like an NHL team 82 nights a year, and then let the chips fall where they may when it comes to the draft. But this is not a year where you should be getting upset if they win. It's not a year you should be, looking at the lottery standings from day one until the draft. No, just feel good about wins this season, especially when if you start to see some of these things that have been preached for the last 2 years start to actually happen. Mm-hmm. Be excited, be happy.
Yes, and before you do those things, hit that like button for us. We would really appreciate that. We've not done a like spike in a while, so please, let's spike it
up
right now. 3, 2, 1. Hit that like button. Let's get to over 100 likes here before we wrap things up. All right, next up, Lawrence.
Let's go with Pace Setter. Norm McIver asking at the end of today's every shift video where the goals are coming from this season was a choice to not edit out.
I've not had time to watch that yet.
Yeah, I haven't watched that yet.
But that was kind of our conversation yesterday was, if you're not having Athanasiou and Reichel in the lineup, you don't have a lot of top 6 type players outside of your top 6, which, fine. But I don't know. I know we're all jazzed about Pat Maroon, and I am especially. Craig Smith looks really good, but we're talking combined 20 goals between those two guys. I don't know. Like, is Foligno going to have it? Foligno's not going to get the opportunities he had last year on Power Play 1. And I do think that goal scoring is a bit of a concern for this
team. It will be, but the fact that you can have Andreas Athanasiou and Lucas Reichel on the outside looking in and not forcing them into your top 6 tells me your top 6 is a lot better than it was last year.
It's definitely better. And I by the way, we should point out, Philip Kurashev looks really good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we're looking at a one-year wonder or a guy who was just the beneficiary of Bedard, I think Kurashev is going to have another good year. So, I've been really impressed with this camp and his preseason so far.
I think we'll be
surprised.
We
don't talk about it enough.
I think we'll be surprised with some depth goal scoring. I really do think that third line of Foligno, Dickinson, Mikheyev is going to get. I know they're going to be your defensive, but the way they play is they're going to get a lot of offensive zone time too because they play defense well. They're going to get the puck out of their own end quickly, and Mikheyev got some speed on the wing. Jason Dickinson's no slouch when it comes to speed up the middle. Mm-hmm. So those guys, those guys could get the puck in the zone and wait for Nick to show up and then do some offense.
You call me slow, you're pissing me off.
But I think that line could be a lot. I know they're going to be relied upon to be the defensive shutdown line, but I think that line is going to surprise people with how effective they can be when they do have offensive zone.
Yeah, and you mentioned Mikheyev. One thing about him, watching him throughout camp, is his shot is impressive. There is some heat on that shot. He's got some speed. That's another place where maybe we are underselling the production that could come from Mikheyev.
Potentially.
We'll see. So, I don't know. I see what McIver's saying. I have to watch the video. I didn't see it, to be honest.
But it is kind of fun that they left that in there.
I'm glad they should.
Yeah, I mean, it's
otherwise
good.
You have Hard Knocks and you're like, this is boring. Everything's great.
It's good to have like the actual raw conversations that are happening. That's what this new Prime series that's coming out tomorrow. Like,
that's the next question.
That's what this all is. Like, it's stuff that, from what I understand, is not filtered through any of the teams. So it's the raw footage, which is going to be awesome to see. But before we get to that, can we do one of our favorite things? On-air math.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Love on-air math.
Calculator's open.
I think the only people that love on-air math more than we do is our listeners.
Yes. All right, so let's do a little exercise. Let's go through the line combinations that we saw today.
Oh, not actual exercise. Okay.
Yeah, no. A little thought exercise. Work out our brains. We'll go through the lines. Bertuzzi, Bedard, Teravainen combined. Can we get 70 goals?
Yes.
20, 30?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, sure.
All right.
Because I'm going over 30 for Bedard.
70. All right. Hall, Kurashev, Mikheyev. That's what we saw today. 55 goals.
I think that's obtainable.
Like a 2015?
I think that's obtainable.
Okay.
It all depends on Taylor Hall's health.
Well, yes.
That's
you don't even have to say that.
I know, but it's just like, it's hard for me to project 82 like that. But for the purposes of the exercise, yes.
Okay, 55.
Hypothetically, if everybody stays healthy for the year, yes.
Foligno, Dickinson, and it was Anderson today, but around 40, can we say? As a trio?
As a trio, 40 should be attainable.
15, 10.
Between 35 and 40 is reasonable expectation. I think Anderson could give you 8 to 10, maybe Foligno 12 or so, and then you maybe hopefully get that 20 from Dickinson again.
But that would be nice.
Yeah.
All right. And then Smith, Donato, Maroon. Can we get 20 goals out of these guys?
Smith, what did Donato have last year? 13?
About.
Yeah.
But he was up and down all over the line.
Not getting power. Not going to be with Bedard, hopefully, knock on wood. No offense to Ryan Donato.
Donato had 12 last year.
20 goals out of that line?
Maybe.
I would
10 from Craig Smith?
I'd say right about there.
All right.
Yeah.
Feels right.
So we'll say 20.
Okay.
So
now do the D.
Defenseman.
Careful.
Can we say 10 for Seth Jones?
That'd be nice. His career high
like that.
12,
that
I
seems
think.
like under selling it maybe, but maybe 10.
10 is
he had
a good
8 last
spot.
year and really struggled to put the puck in the net early.
So let's say 10.
Okay.
Can Alex Vlasic score 5 goals?
Sure.
Okay. So plus 10.
He might be getting a certain bump before
Plus
at some point during the season. That might.
Can Connor Murphy score 3 goals?
No.
Can he? Sure. Will he? I don't know.
Okay,
3 goals, over under 3.
What
Sure.
did he do in his last, like, say, 3 seasons?
Connor Murphy last year had 2. The year before,
2, 7, and
explosion
4.
for 7.
All right, 3 sounds good. And I bet you if he gets 3, he's going to get them all in the same week.
By the way, he had
Sure.
2 in 46 games last year. So,
Okay.
yes.
All
Yes,
right.
that's attainable.
Okay.
Can TJ Brody score 5 goals?
I have no idea.
I know very little about TJ Brody.
I know he used to be able to score goals.
Last year he had 1. Year before he had 2. The year before that he had 4.
Okay, so let's say, can he score 2
So
goals?
at that rate, he'll have
2.
half a goal this year.
I'll give him 2.
2 goals. All right, plus 2. So we did Brody, Jones, Murphy, Vlasic. Okay, Alec Martinez, can he get 3 goals?
Sure.
Okay, plus 3. And let's see, who am I missing? Martinez,
Nolan Allen.
Vlasic.
So
Murphy,
your
Jones.
combination. of whoever
Kaiser,
the
can
6th
Kaiser,
guy-
when he's healthy, score 5?
I think 4.
Yeah, I'll give him
Maybe
5.
4 or 5.
Sure.
So play 5.
By the way,
Phillips-
last year Martinez had 4 goals in 55 games.
Phillips going to get a goal this year?
I hope so.
Can Nolan Allen score a goal in the NHL?
I mean,
Yes.
sure. I mean, all I got to do is just bank it off of Pat Maroon.
All right. So that's 215 goals.
Okay.
That's more than last year, which is a low bar to cross.
Yay.
And that would put you where is this? 32, 31, 30, 30 in the NHL.
All right. So that's not great.
Not great. Better than last year, but not great. But also,
That's for reference.
are we underselling?
2.6 goals per game.
Yeah.
You're not going to win a ton of games at 2.
I think those are.
But I feel
I think
like
our-
that is an undersell.
I think your estimates
Yeah.
were realistic and conservative.
Yes. Right.
I think that's an undersell.
So so the point of that is like, if everybody hits where their
Not an average.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
low end. So that if that's your line, you probably will hopefully be better than that.
I would like to think that. Yeah.
I would love to somehow score 3 goals a game. That would be amazing.
That'd be nice.
Talking crazy now.
But 2.6 per game is not going to win you a lot of games.
There will also be some sort of unexpected something this year. There's, Bedard will outperform, or somebody else will have a, I really think we could potentially see a career year in goals from Bertuzzi and or Teravainen.
That'd be nice.
Maybe.
Maybe
Bertuzzi is more of a.
Bertuzzi scored 30
Yeah.
2 seasons ago. You know,
Here's my thing. I will get to this when we do our prediction show here soon.
on Monday.
Yes, you will know of our predictions on Monday. As much as I know we've talked in the offseason about the articles about does Bedard make that huge jump this year. I'm going to temper my expectations on that. So
what are you happy with?
What did he have last year? 60
0.9 points per game.
61 points in 68 games.
So
or
if
something
he
like that.
says he plays all 82 games,
He was on pace for 74 points.
I mean, then I would like to see him point per game. 82 points in 82 games. But like for some of the things that are like he's going to jump up to 110 points, stuff like that. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
If he could get anywhere between 80 and 90, that'd be huge, because he still has a lot of things to figure out. I talked to our pal Troy Murray for a little bit yesterday at practice, and he was saying like Connor Bedard still needs to learn how to play at the NHL. He's still learning. Like he's still trying to skate through 4 guys at a time and weave in and do it all himself, because that's what he's used to. Because for his entire hockey career until last year, he basically just had to be Connor Bedard, and he was going to do whatever the hell he wanted on the ice, and now he can't do that. And he's still figuring it out. He's getting better at it. So, like, I'm not ready to say Connor Bedard is going to be 100 points and he's going to be right up there with the league leaders this year. He'll get there.
Yeah.
But I'm not ready to declare Bedard is going to have this huge second-year jump. I hope he does.
Yeah.
But, hey, 85 points, that's still a really, really good season.
All right, we're going to do one more question, but first we want to tell everybody to become a diehard at allchgo.com today, because you get a free shirt or hat when you sign up. You get 20% off all of our events, including our CHGO Bears tailgate that's happening on Sunday. Oh, you have a gluten?
You've been glutened.
No, he's got to pee.
You will save 20% off the merch.
Always the professional.
All the time. So do that. Become a diehard. If you would have signed up earlier, you would have saved on a trip to London. That's happening next week. Trip to Arizona coming in November. And we got takeovers for the United Center in the works. So keep your eye out. As soon as we have that information, we will pass it on to you. and you'll be able to join us for saving 20% off. So if you become a diehard, it's a yearly fee. Like I mentioned, you get the free shirt or hat and sign up at 20%. So you get the shirt, you go to an event or two, it pays for itself. If you need to justify it that way. If you want to justify it another way, it really helps us out. It helps us keep going. It helps us keep doing these great things we do, these community events, these takeovers, all this stuff. So please become a diehard today at allchgo.com. All right, let's do one more question before we wrap things up.
Let's go to Ted808 because I did tell him that we would talk about this. He says, in town for a couple days. Need pizza, obviously. Is Pequod's thin crust elite, or is it all about the... Well, he says Detroit style, but I would say just...
Well, here's my... I like them both.
I never had the thin crust at Pequod's.
I would not do thin crust there.
It's pretty good.
I don't care.
It's not thin.
You got to go there to get...
Yeah, if you're going to Pequod's...
If you're in town for a couple days...
Here's my solution to that, so you don't have to just be stubborn like Lawrence. Get one of each. Figure out which one you like better.
There you go.
You are allowed to order more than one pizza.
Yes, get both.
Get both. Get both and form your own opinion. You won't be disappointed. They're both very good.
I'm just saying, like, go somewhere else for thin crust.
Salerno's got great thin crust.
You know.
Big fan. Yes,
Saturday.
Definitely.
Done.
Nice.
We are doing that. All right, should we do a hockey one before we go?
Sure. Ralph J. What is worse situation, being Toronto and perpetually losing in the first round, or being a team like Chicago being in the bottom three every year? Every year, settle down, Ralph.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather let's adapt this guy's question.
Okay.
Would you rather be the Minnesota Wild forever,
Mm.
or like the Hawks of the '90s, where you make the playoffs all the time and you never really win anything because your team is unwilling to go spend the money they need to spend? Or would you rather rebuild and ramp up? I'd rather do what the Hawks are doing now than what the Wild do. But would I switch places with the Toronto Maple Leafs right now? Yes, because they could win a cup.
Yes, because being in the playoffs every year means maybe, just maybe, you luck into something one year.
Yeah, and I know we all laugh at the Maple Leafs, but that is a cup caliber roster. It's a cup caliber team.
It's like the March Madness tournament. Like, you get in and anything can happen.
Right. Unless you're the Wild.
Unless you're the Wild.
Because you don't have the firepower to get it done.
Yeah, I think you'd much rather be in a spot where you can be competitive, be in the hunt, and be doing it like with an actual like contenders mentality. And I think with the blueprint, with what the Blackhawks are trying to do, that's the end goal. It's not shoot for the middle and you get 2 playoff games maybe. Like, it's something higher.
Well, that's why you rebuild like this, because you're trying to get back to that sustained. I mean, the Avalanche are a great example of a team that was historically awful, weathered that storm, nailed some draft picks with McKinnon and McCarr, and on and on and on, made some savvy trades in the meantime, and now they're a perpetual contender.
Yeah,
that's where you want to get. But I think you kind of have to bottom out before you get there. There's very few teams that have Dallas, maybe the exception, but they haven't won a cup of a team that can kind of rebuild on the fly and stay competitive. But they've also hit some home runs with some picks that were not super, super high, which helps. So, yeah.
Can we end it with King Tanner? It's fun.
Sure.
King Tanner says that, we heard management is doing to try and keep Bedard off the ice, but what tactics would you guys use to get Bedard off the ice?
Tell him to come off the ice. You're the coach.
I was thinking we could make this into more of a scavenger hunt for sticks, or
I would
turn all the pucks into pudding. I don't know, something like that.
I would replace the pucks with how they have those like exploding golf balls.
Oh, that's fun.
I'd have those like powder exploding pucks.
Melt the ice before he
just turn the heat up.
Turn the heat up and so.
I mean, I know they got that Culligan deal, but that seems very
his
expensive.
skates just starts sinking in.
Throw marbles on the ice,
or
It's not
that could hurt him.
Trying to hurt.
That's true.
Blow out a knee.
Crush's
That wouldn't
number
be good.
98.
That's true.
Just turn out all the lights.
Yeah, you could do that.
Turn out all the lights.
I bet he.
I didn't have like these black curtains that fall and cover the windows at the like. You could turn out the lights at the fifth third, and you'd still have plenty of ambient light in there. But
I got it.
Completely turn out.
Allow autograph-seeking adults onto the ice surface while he's playing.
Yes.
And media asking questions.
There you go.
Just
let us on the ice.
Let us on the ice and just start walking up
scrums
to
on the ice. That will get him in the locker room real quick. There you go.
Very fast.
We solved it.
All right, there you go. Good
There
ending.
we go.
Good ending.
All right, we're going to be back tomorrow post-game. Finally. Boy, oh boy.
Hooray.
Let's get back to the UC and watch
Some of us
hockey.
just had a post-game
I'm
show
talking
the
about
other day.
the home game. The home game. I need some more gummy bears in my life. We'll be back tomorrow for the post-game, and then for the Milwaukee game, Mario is going to go to Milwaukee.
Yes.
Greg and I will be here for post-game.
Basically live there anyway. So.
Yeah, we've got your full coverage for the Milwaukee game as
home
well.
will be a lot faster coming from Milwaukee than the
It
United
sure will
Center.
be.
Yeah. And then Monday, we've got our season preview. Tuesday, we're in Utah.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be fun. So here we go. We're close. We're very, very close. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for getting us over that 100 like mark. Please hit the like button if you've not already and subscribe to our YouTube page. We would appreciate that. So until tomorrow after Hawks and Wild, this has been the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.